So here we go. We'll see who checks in on this. Yesterday, you had a sad day for a lot of people in Big Blue Nation with Joby passing away. Had a few thoughts I wanted to share about that. I talked to Pierce yesterday about it. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do this myself. So anyway, yeah, coached from 72 to 85, I guess, at UK, and very interesting. I just had some thoughts that I thought were interesting about his career, and some thoughts beyond that. Took over for Adolph Rupp, which was just, I can't even imagine how much pressure that was. People talk about when Cal leaves, who's going to take over, and that'll be a challenging situation as well. But I think Joe Hall had a way more challenging situation to step into with Rupp retiring, and probably I was like one at the time. So I doubt that Rupp wanted to step aside, but I think there was some, I can't remember all the details. I think there were some issues about his age, and I know he had poor health. His health was poor, but anyway, yeah, sad day losing Joby yesterday. His health had went down dramatically the last couple of years, and he was just an incredible ambassador for Kentucky basketball and the state. And frankly, when I was very frustrated with him as a fan, because 78, I remember the title. I was 7 then, but toward the end of the run, it was definitely time for him to go. I think you only have a certain lifespan as a UK basketball coach. I don't think you can do it like Rupp did. It's a way different environment now than it was. It's way different than it is now. But a couple of things I thought were interesting. People talk about Joe Hall's title, but one of the things he did early on is in 75 when he was actually the last coach to coach against John Wooden in the championship game in 75. But what was interesting beyond that is that they beat Bobby Knight in the, I believe it was a Mid-East championship game to go to the Final Four. Knight had the undefeated team. And actually, I think that was the only game that they lost over a 2-season period. And I can't stand Bobby Knight. I'll keep it at that. Did not like Bobby Knight. Couldn't stand Indiana. Couldn't care less if he ever won another game. But anyway, so I thought that was really interesting that team won, went into, and what's funny is looking at just in a little bit of checking into that, we actually could have played U of L in that championship game, but I believe UCLA came back and won in the other semifinal of that Final Four. That would have been wild. That was I was 4, so I don't remember that. But anyway, and then we went on to win the 78 title. And I was looking through it, and I think he won 8 SEC titles, regular season titles, but only won one tournament. But the actual tournament had been stopped for quite a while. I think the tournament resumed in 79 or something like that, and lost in a couple of championship games in the SEC tournaments. But yeah, Joe Hall he's just a great guy, and actually really liked him. Just got to admire and appreciate him more actually after he retired, if I'm being honest about it. But he was a great ambassador for UK, and I just have to share a couple stories, and then I'm going to wrap this thing up for whoever decides to pay attention to this. I'll probably put this over on my YouTube channel too. But 1984, the Final Four, I actually lived in Kansas at that time, and I literally remember like it was yesterday. We were playing Georgetown, and it was in Seattle, I believe, is where the Final Four was at. And I'm downstairs in our basement in Kansas. My sister, my dad, my mom, I don't know what they were doing. But I had the game on, and it was going okay in the first half. And then we decided to not be able to make a shot it just crushed me. At that time, I would have been 13 that summer, so I was 12. And I'll just admit, I mean, I remember crying. That game just crushed me. It was awful. I mean, I just so mad and because I really thought we had a team that could beat Patrick Ewing and those thugs from Georgetown. They were terrible. I couldn't stand Georgetown, and yeah, it was awful. That was one memory, and then I got to throw my grandmother in here because she was just loved UK basketball, and she always would say, and Cinnamon will always talk about this when we're watching a game. Your grandmother would be going, Granny would be going, "What's wrong with our boys right now?" When something, when they can't make a basket or they're losing. But I never can remember. I don't remember what happened, but she held grudges for sure on certain things. And boy, Joe Hall had done something to Kyle Macy. I don't know if it was over the Pan Am games. Macy had gotten sick or whatever. I don't remember, but she just was driving her crazy. I remember her having that reaction. But anyway, he was a great ambassador for the university. Great coach. Won 373 college games. Most of those at Kentucky. I think he coached a couple of places before he came back to be an assistant for Adolph Rupp and then took over the job. I do wish that when he had left, they had hired Leonard Hamilton to coach the team. I loved Leonard, and I root for him all the time. I want Florida State to do great. The ageless wonder, Leonard Hamilton. But anyway, thanks for checking it out. Again, go Cats, go Big Blue, and yesterday was very fitting to pound the crap out of Tennessee. I loved it. We could have won by 100. It wouldn't have been enough. But anyway, you all have a great Sunday.